Welcome back, everyone, to our Global Love Day celebration, a celebration of our humanity. And this experience that we're doing, where we're live with the board of directors from the Love Foundation from around the world. So we were just with Candace in Hawaii. We've been over to Malaysia, UK. We've been by Nashville. And now we're in Colorado.
Woo.
Mile High City. And I have to say, so far, you're the first person that danced to the countdown like I do. I've been listening to every one of these countdowns. I just kind of get in that little groove and rhythm.
That's pretty good. I like that countdown music.
So welcome, Kevin, to this interview that we're doing, the sharing of unconditional love. And I will say to the audience that's watching, you are actually one of our newest board members and actually one of the newest ones to the Love Foundation. However, that said, you also have a long history with the wisdom and awareness of unconditional love. So I'm looking forward to introducing you to everyone that watches, and also letting you share your insights of how you've come to not only unconditional love, the Love Foundation, and understanding of Global Love Day, but how you share love in your life. Yes, every day. Notice I'm the one person that hasn't worn a t-shirt.
Hey.
So welcome, and I'm just going to jump right in to say a couple of things about you. That they said you're new to the board, and yet we've actually known each other close to a year now, and we've had some really profound and wonderful conversations. You bring in a perspective that really relates so closely with the consciousness and awareness of unconditional love.
Sure.
And at the same time, we don't have as much history as we've had with the others. So you are kind of seeing us kind of fresh and new. This is actually your official first Global Love Day with us.
Yeah.
And where we kind of have started with everybody is, what is essentially your understanding of unconditional love from your perspective?
Right. Well, so the perspective that I'm coming from with that is pretty highly influenced by the magnetic energy world, because it's been part of my life for such a long time, for many years. And love is so tightly connected to that technology. And so from my perspective, unconditional love, what it means to me is doing my best to live from my heart space. And then also doing my best to honor, respect, and support other people living from their heart space as well. And I know that's really lofty, because when I'm talking about this heart space energy, I'm talking about this universal connectivity to this higher intelligence, this higher in mind, this global awareness, this universal awareness. And so when I'm thinking of like unconditional love, it's almost like a goal of evolution for humanity, to move into this level of unconditional love at a corporate level, at a government level, at a systemic level, where our model as a society, as humanity, is to say, we will honor your heart space path. We will honor your life as you live from your heart space, and do everything we can to support you in that. And to come to those win-win solutions, those compromises, those things that put the environment as a high priority, that put people of all races, of every possible variation of human being that you can imagine, and beyond that, and respect everyone equally, because they are part of a universal process, and when they're living from their heart space. If we come together, that's how we can harmonize together, because our hearts will not conflict with each other. At that high level of awareness, at that high level of consciousness, they will complement each other. They will be in a symphony together. And if we stay in that space, we can coexist and very much thrive as a species. So I really that's kind of where I'm coming from on that.
Not only did you answer a question of unconditional love, but you more or less gave a broad description, obviously, of Global Love Day, because as we're going super general with saying celebrating our humanity, and you're filling in all the details of what that means on the deepest level, and how differently we become an expansion of consciousness on the planet, and then start creating things we can't even fathom at the moment because we're not vibrating at a level where we're actually connecting with one another.
Yes. Yes. We have yet to, I mean, now I don't want to say that because in the past, yes, we have been there.
Yeah.
We have been there, and many of us, and really literally many of us now that are incarnated have been there in the past. But as a species, though, we have had very, very powerful, many thousands of years, millions of years of being in that energy. And I think it's important for us to come back to that now. And exactly how you said it, if we come into that space together, that unconditional love space together, our potential just
Exponential, yes.
Exponential increase in our potential, our creativity, our creative abilities, our abilities to solve problems, our abilities to support each other, our abilities to become productive in this galactic community. So it's huge for me.
We've been, as a collective, we've been really kind of good at creating problems for some solutions along the way.
Yeah.
And as you said, Global Love Day is, a celebration of our humanity. And as we've shared basically in every one of these presentations with each board members, for us at the Love Foundation, Global Love Day is every day. So we are living love every day, yet bringing it out on May 1st is really so that we can bring this awareness and this dialogue to a global audience so we can start the dialogue, so we can start understanding what it means to really work together, collaborate together, share together, recognize ourselves and each other, in ourselves and each other. And so, where you bring in is a wealth of technology and knowledge that so complements what we've been doing for 21 years with the Love Foundation and 18 with Global Love Day. And we are really looking forward to infusing more, because it's always been our goal to bring more of the research and the knowledge base to corroborate what we've already known generally and esoterically, and what we share more universally.
Right.
So I know you're more newer to Global Love Day and you understand the overall concept, but what would be you have such an affinity to what we're doing. I mean, there's such a naturalness that just blends so perfectly and seamlessly. It's as if we've been working together for decades. In your exposure to Global Love Day, as an idea, what is like a standout aspect of Global Love Day that really resonates with you? Why you feel it's important?
Well, I feel like it's important to get the awareness out there so that more and more people get into that energy, get into that vibration, so that it becomes more anchored in our consciousness, and hopefully helps accelerate this enlightenment process, this transition that we're moving into right now. And it's so funny because there are technological solutions to every problem on the planet. There really are. But without love and without unconditional love and without that awareness, that technology isn't so great.
Yeah, it only takes us so far.
Yeah, I mean, and honestly, without love and without a heart-centered awareness and a heart-centered society and unconditional love, you really wouldn't want that technology to come out, because it would do more harm than good. So it's really, really, from my perspective, it's so important to so many things, to literally the survival of the human race, that we move into our heart space and unconditional love. And this day is very, very cool because it represents that. It's symbolic of that, and that it needs to be every day, and that every day needs to become Love Day.
Yes,
it really does. Every day needs to be Love Day. I'm telling
Which
you.
is actually great for the next. So you were attracted to and brought, the awareness of the Love Foundation was brought to your attention some time ago.
Yeah.
And I, in our conversations, I think you kind of said too that this is the type of group and organization that really makes sense to you in fact, that we are focusing on consciousness at this step. We know we're at a place where we're a stepping stone in the overall evolution of our collective consciousness, but
Right.
we're reintroducing the timeless awareness of unconditional love. It's nothing new. It's just that we're reintroducing that through the Love Foundation. Mm-hmm. So as part of now the Love Foundation board and as part of the Love Foundation vision, as I've said too, we all feel we're custodians of this vision. There's a circle of us. There's no strong-armed mission vision so much as it's a relationship one to another, like a big giant family, but the board being ones that really are the custodians of the core vision. You've now stepped into that role, but you've been living that role. How do you see the way you've been living being enhanced and corroborated in a way by participating now with the Love Foundation as an organization?
Well, I think part of it is just connecting with you guys and connecting with like-minded people and having that energy be amplified through our connection, because that's part of our humanness. Part of humanity is when we connect with each other, when we share things with each other, when we share problems or issues and how we want to solve that, or we share our visions of the future, or our visions of how humanity can be. All of that is creating this high vibration of energy. And when we get together and we talk about things, we have a high vibration of energy. I mean, you can feel it. It's like palpable, it's tangible. And I feel like that's really important right now around the world. We all need to try to engage in high vibration conversations and think about global awareness. Just bring it into our awareness, bring into universal awareness. And what does that look like practically? How does that manifest in our everyday life? How do we get into our heart space? And like when we all produced the heart space meditation together, that type of thing I feel like is so important. You know, we're like providing tools. We're trying to assist people in elevating their consciousness and tuning into their heart space energy. And that's just that first baby step, because then as we begin to tune into other people's heart space energy, then we get this like very powerful synergistic kind of vibe around the globe where we'll start really tuning into each other and what our real needs are from a heart space. And how do we come together and solve those problems, essentially?
And that's been very much why and how we've operated the Love Foundation is a much more fluid, flexible, organic organization where we don't have rules, membership regulations, any of those types of things, but rather we find a synergy in the creativity. We enjoy people participating in something like Global Love Day, bringing their own insights and awareness, their own creativity into the process, rather than trying to replicate something that we've created. Mm-hmm. So with that, part of what you're bringing in, and I just want to touch on it lightly because you have a bunch of wonderful videos already. And yes, we've created several videos with you that people can find. When we're talking more specifically with you and the magnetic technology that we're referencing, can you explain just super briefly how this is different than bringing two magnets together and repulsion and making, some little motors spin? Because right. I understand it, you understand it, but a lot of people are just preconditioned to think in yesterday's technology. You're really talking about something that is, Star Trekky in a way that's multidimensional and much bigger. So go.
It's very much, it's like the evolution of Tesla technology. So it's an etheric based energy. So
Nikolai Tesla, we might say, not the car Tesla.
Yeah, the man Tesla, not the car Tesla. No electrical stuff. So it's really harnessing the energy, universal energy. Even in the metaphysical community, people call it prana, or they'll call it the life force energy. Yes. Star Wars, you call it the force. I mean, it's this neutral energy that's all around us, all through us, all throughout the universe. But the technology, what it does is it harnesses it, utilizes it safely, lets it perform work and functions, and then allows it to go back into the system. So now the key to all of that is that energy is the foundation of our existence. It literally unlocks matter. It unlocks energy. So it brings the end of scarcity on every level. It provides us with energy for all our technology, but then it also provides us with, if necessary, it provides us with all of the material goods that we would need as a human race to survive, because you can literally formulate matter out of the energy. You can deformulate it, so you can take any type of pollution, completely neutralize it. And then you can reformulate matter, so you could take something and replicate it, for example. So, I mean, when you start looking at the implications of that, and how it will change economies and change governments, change corporations, and change the world and this disparity of income, it really brings us into a sustainable model of living. But the whole thing rests on unconditional love. And you can see, just play this out in your mind, without unconditional love, that power, that type of powerful technology cannot come out. This is a galactic process. Okay.
Yes.
There are other beings watching this, and I can promise you that on a higher level, there are beings from other solar systems that are members of the Love Foundation.
I can concur with that.
They're
Well,
already members of it, and they have another board.
when
that's
we
sitting.
actually first met, that
Yes.
the superficial part of magnetic technology, and it's like, wow, we couldn't be different partners in something, and yet when we connected, it
Mhm.
instantly made total sense that the synergy of the wisdom and the awareness, the knowledge that you bring into this picture of these potentials, and then the experience, the wisdom, and the intention of the Love Foundation for 20 years, now 21 years, they are completely synergistic and intertwined, and they're lining up. And for us, it's like opened up a whole new gateway, doorway of how to infuse even more um, energy and intention and reasoning, not for a specific goal, but for the opportunity to more rapidly get into a space that not only we're loving each other in humanity, we're collaborating within sharing, but we're now actually creating on a level that we've never understood creation is possible at.
That's
So
right.
we've been excited to bring this part into the Love Foundation and actually add to what we've been doing. And I can see now, as we've shared these past many months, the value and necessity of the message of the love piece that
Yes.
makes all of it happen.
That's
So
right.
it's brilliant. And I think all of us are quite excited to see how this really unfolds.
Well, and it's so cool because if we have the consciousness, and we try, we do our best. I mean, nobody's perfect, but we're doing our best to keep our vibration high, to keep our awareness high, to stay in that heart-centered space on a daily basis. The Love Foundation and the team together, it gives us this ability to start operationalizing how love fits into technological development, how it fits into a model that incorporates new technology, because that's not really part of our society right now.
Right.
If you go to a power plant and you talk to the engineers there, they're not so concerned about love and how it's integrating with producing the power in there. I mean,
Yes.
we are concerned about that. We're deeply concerned about that. And it's a real practical, tangible experience to say, how does love fit into this model, and how would it fit into bringing clean water and cleaning pollution to third world countries, and how would it fit into providing them with food? How does love's role and how does that role play in that process? And that's super important. I mean, it's pretty awesome, actually.
What's like taking this big general vision that we carry, this kind of universal timeless message, but bringing it into extraordinarily practical application. And for us,
Right.
it's always about like our main themes: love begins with me, and
Yep.
then celebrating our humanity. We're going micro to macro, and what you're sharing is taking this lofty idea that many people see as lofty, great, like love unconditionally. It's like, well, good luck with that. But
Yeah.
now we're bringing it into physical, tangible, where there's real reason and value and opportunity beyond anything we can imagine at the moment when you bring these two pieces together, because we've really only known competition and non-love.
It's a perfect example. So someone might say, well, how does that look in the real world? Here's one way that looks, and feel the sacrifice in this and about what I'm about to say. Look at magnetic technology as something that the whole human race deserves, and it's a gift to humanity. It's not something to own selfishly, to greedily control and make money with. So that value, the difference in that value, see the difference in greed and corporate greed and control and ownership and all those low vibration energies. Just forget about all of that. Forget about all of that. How does love look in the distribution of the technology? How does love look in helping humanity and getting the people that are in serious need of clean water and food and clothing and all these things, and getting that stuff to them in an unconditional, loving way, without thinking, well, how much money am I going to make from that?
Right.
I mean, how many investors? Well, how much money can we make from your technology? Well, that's not really the point of the technology. to heal the earth and to heal humanity and to bring this for everyone. Now, that doesn't mean that money isn't part of the process. I'm not even, it can be, but is it the driving force? Is greed the driving force? Is control the driving force? Is waging war the controlling the drive? No, none of that is. Love has to be the driving force. Unconditional love, a very high vibration. And I hope whoever's listening to this, that you can feel the difference and the sacrifice that it takes to say, no, I will commit to the high vibration path of this technology and of my life, regardless of the consequences. Why? Because that's what my heart is telling me to do. Like, right?
Yes. And what's wonderful about the board of the Love Foundation, we've all come to that understanding. And for us, what I think we would ultimately enjoy sharing to the audience is it's a sacrifice when you first look at it, because it feels like you're giving something up. And yet, for those of us that have been walking this path for a very long time, it's hardly a sacrifice. It's opened us up to potentials and realities that we could not have dreamed of.
That's exactly right. It only looks like a sacrifice if you're locked into the old paradigm. But as soon as we let that go, you recognize that there is no sacrifice being made. In fact, it's our calling. It's our heart resonant energy. It is such a high vibration, and it really is its own reward just doing that. So I'm so glad you said that, because it only looks like a sacrifice if you're in the old vibration.
And I think we have all faced it. So it's a very valid point, because we've been walking this for so long that we don't always think of it. But back in the day, if I roll the camera back, there were some choices that had to be made. And there are choices every day that are still made where I choose, am I going to live in fear and separation, or am I going to choose love and collaboration and unification? And those choices are still done on small scales, but initially those were bigger issues to contend with. So I certainly appreciate how
choices every day as well.
Yeah, and how you bring the two pieces together, because that's why we enjoy. Every board member that's spoken today has brought a very tangible, unique aspect of their own personal life and their own personal experience into this dialogue, this conversation, that really shows that we carry this core vision. The Love Foundation, inspiring people to love unconditionally, Global Love Day, celebrating our humanity. And they can sound like cliches, but when you start talking to people that are living it, and then you realize that they're coming from so many different walks of life, there is no one mantra, there's no one dogma, there's no one anything. Right. But here we are coming together and saying, how can we play together? How can we make things happen together? And essentially putting our first baby steps in to show the world that this is possible on a planetary scale. Yes. And then hopefully someday on a galactic scale and a cosmic scale. So,
absolutely.
I will say that this is a wonderful part of the conversation. I know this is newer to you, so the Global Love Day, fresher, wearing the t-shirt is one great, but how are you celebrating Global Love Day today? Woohoo! Any particular plans, or you're finding it easier to kind of resonate in love all day today? Is it easier to
Yeah, I think it is. And for me today, it's like about being with family, spending time with family, and really, just having fun, sharing in the energy, feeling the love.
Feeling the love, feeling the vibes that are out there, because clearly, I mean, we've been on a wave, it started, yesterday, as we started this morning, 8 a.m. with Smiley in Malaysia, and she was closing out her Global Love Day at 8 p.m. that, the night. So there is a wave, and we kind of hit that wave throughout this day. And even as we've been going across the United States, more Western centric, it's been fun to pick up on these vibes and seeing all the people interacting and sharing with us. So,
and doing my little meditation stuff and global healing meditation and that kind of stuff. So,
And we do have all these resources, so check us out on the Love Foundation, and you can find access to the things Kevin has already contributed in his short tenure with us, but we're looking forward to great and grand things. We certainly appreciate you having spent some time with us today and playing on Global Love Day, sharing your insights and awareness and sharing your love. And we'll continue the conversation, and I'm sure others will find you and start some new conversations, because what you're doing is very interesting to lots of us. But I certainly appreciate you playing with us, and I'm going to wish you a happy Global Love Day, and we will sign off from here.
Awesome. Happy Global Love Day, everyone. Love you guys.